Sam Life Insurance. Affordable, virtual. Prudential can help. You're not Julius Caesar, okay? No, I'm not.
Three, two, one. Good morning, Toastmasters. Good morning, suffragettes. Good morning, scientists. Thank you for getting up early on a Tuesday morning for my little speech, Suffragette City. Hunter, Rick Hunter, was thrown out of high school for blowing up the chemistry lab. He was getting by as a usually unemployed part-time construction worker. He's a member of Mensa, and he's kept busy by traveling with his fellow cave explorer, Steve Tucker. Notice in this picture how thin and wiry Steve is. That's important to our story. Steve is a professional accountant. And Steve and Rick were exploring in the country of South Africa in the region known as Rising Star. This is the Rising Star cave they were exploring in. Cut away from it. You'll notice that you enter and then you go down approximately 70 feet. Come past the Superman's crawl, which I'll explain later. Go into this very dark chamber, and there you find a 7.5-inch gap. As far as we know, Rick and Steve are the first people in well over 20,000 years to decide to enter that 7.5-inch gap and see what's on the other end. What's on the other end is about a 30-foot drop. However, it is also very narrow, so they were able to use their hands, feet, knees, and shoulders to gently fall down and enter the Dinaledi chamber. In the chamber, they made an amazing discovery. And this discovery happened on Friday, September 13th, 2013. I want you to think about where you were. I know that you were already living in Cupertino. I know that you were already a member of Adelante Toastmaster, and a vast majority of you were already living here in Silicon Valley. That's how recent this is. Rick and Steve knew they had something on their hands, and they didn't know who to turn to. So the person they approached was Lee Berger. Now let me tell you, Lee is the Joe Montana, the Oprah Winfrey, the Babe Ruth, the Mickey Mantle, the Albert Einstein, the Madame Curie of modern paleontology. For a discovery he made in 2008, they put his picture on the cover of the Rolling Stone. No, I'm kidding. They put his picture in Science Magazine, Scientific America, Time Magazine, and many other professional periodicals. But wait a minute. Did I say that Lee made that discovery? No. It so happens that in 2008, when he was 9 years old, Lee's son, Matthew, discovered bones that were nearly 2 million years old. When the guys approached Lee, he knew he was going to need pictures in order to get funding for a dig or further exploration. And at that time, there was only one person available in South Africa, well-trained in paleontology, well-trained in digital photography, who got through that 7.5-inch gap. And that one person was Lee's then 14-year-old son. So they trudged down, they went into the cave, 60, 70 feet underground. They went right up to the 7.5-inch gap. That's where Lee had to stop, and he sent his son with Rick and Frank into the darkness, into the pitch darkness, and down the 20-foot sheer drop. Lee waited an hour. He waited 2 hours. he started to wonder what he was going to tell his wife. Finally, at about 2 hours and 20 minutes, Matthew's head poked out, and he had sensational photographs. These were forwarded, as soon as they got home, these were forwarded to National Geographic in the United States, and Lee made a phone call at 2:30 in the morning. 2:30 in the morning to the vice president of National Geographic. He approved the expenses for further exploration. This happened in October 2013. Lee did what many of us do right after Toastmasters. He went on Facebook. A summary of the email he sent was, I need people. The person must be skinny and preferably small. Successful candidates could not be claustrophobic. They had to be cavers. They had to hold a relevant master's degree or doctorate degree. Come to Johannesburg immediately, accept a blind mission for no pay. Now, I want you to think about something. Generally, when you're a master's or going for your PhD, you're usually somewhere between $60,000 and $160,000 in debt. The only one that will give you credit at this point is the Bank of a Mom. Can you imagine that phone call when they were told, I'm going to Africa for no pay, be gone about a month or two, you won't be able to reach me most of the time because I'll be deeply underground. Well, 57 people applied. Lee chose 6 of them. This happened on Sunday, October 6th. He sent out his email or his Facebook post. By Sunday, November 10th, 2013, the team was assembled. It was these 6 young ladies here who came to be known as the Rising Star Underground Astronauts. Once again, here's a cutout from the opposite direction of where they were working. Notice at first it's a fairly easy entrance into the area. Right here you come to the Superman's Crawl. This is called the Superman's Crawl because it's only 10.5 inches wide. And even these petite young scientists were only able to get through it by putting one shoulder far in front of the other and wiggling and shaking through. Then you come to the nameless room that is pitch dark, sharp rocks that are difficult to see, come up to the 7.5-inch gap, go down the 20-foot drop into the Dinaledi chamber. This work is dirty, it's dangerous, it's hot, it's disgusting, it's in the middle of the jungle. And these 6 brave scientists said, bring it on. What was the significance of the Rising Star dig? The world's top anthropologists have worked for 50 years in East Africa and found a total of 100 hominoid fossils. The Rising Star team found their first 100 hominoid fossils in 5 days of working. This 19-day expedition and a second team working in a nearby cave a few months later found a total of 1,500 hominoid fossils. This more than doubled the entire number of hominoid fossils discovered worldwide. Usually, fossils are found partially enclosed by hard rock or sediment. It takes weeks or even months to carefully, painstakingly remove the fossils from their enclosures. The fossils in the Dinaledi chamber were just laying on soft, dusty earth. The majority of the bones were articulated. This means the finger bones were connected to the ham bone, was connected to the arm bone, was right next to the shoulder bone, and so on. In a future speech, I will elaborate on the importance of the findings in the chamber, but I want to conclude today by listing the heroines of the expedition. Becca Pezzito, PhD student, Washington State. Marina Elliott, PhD, Canada. Ellen Ferragli, master's degree, Australia. Hannah Morris, master's, Ohio State. Aliyah Gurtov, PhD candidate, Tanzania. Hunter. Lindsay Hunter. MRS degree. Oh, just kidding you. She did end up marrying Rick Hunter, the gentleman that started our speech, and they met at the Rising Star. And she has a master's degree from the University of Iowa. Fellow Toastmasters, suffragettes, scientists, I want to implore on you, some point in your life, you're going to be asked to go into the dark. The pay's going to be miserable. You're going to be cut off from family and friends and all that you know. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be dirty. But go, because that's where all the discoveries are made. Thank you very much for listening to my kissing speech, Kissing Cousins Chautauqua.